Good evening, everybody. Some of you might notice that I'm almost always on here with like a wet head. It's because most of the time before I make my video, I take a bath and I sit in my think tank and think about what I'm going to talk about. And sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. Of course, I'm also reading while I'm in there. It's just like a whole lot of stuff going on. So tonight, I want to talk about, once again, how my brain works. um, Once again, I have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Um, some would define borderline personality disorder as being on the borderline of being psychotic. I don't like that definition, obviously, because I don't feel psychotic in any way, shape, or form. But one thing that I do get in trouble with is like I might seem to some people as frigid, cold, unfeeling. Um, I don't know about self-centered, but I know that that's how a lot of us feel or get accused of, that we're self-centered. Um, a lot of uh, things will say that having borderline personality disorder is like being the victim of a third-degree burn, and how you feel emotions. I don't feel them that way. um, my emotions and mood and everything is on like a minute to minute basis. Uh, if I am present, I kind of feel the mood of the room. Uh, if I'm present, if I'm not present, then I have no. Well, I've got some clue of what's going on around me, but I'm not like paying attention to it. I perfected this with my mother. She would have these long conversations with me, and she never knew I wasn't listening. She never knew, because I would always pick the right times to go, wow, okay. You know, she never picked that up. So I do that with my kids too when I'm in a state of disassociating, which is basically me being extremely distracted or trying to distract the main part of my brain. I've always got like a peripheral part working, which I don't know how many people can understand that, having like the peripheral working. It's kind of like seeing things from the corner of your eye. Well, that's how I will a lot of times experience the world, is I'm looking at my phone, or I'm playing on my computer, or I'm doing something, but yet I know everything that's going on around me. I may not see it, but I know like this is going on. I am apparently very inappropriate. I don't notice it though. Like, I don't know. And unless somebody says, don't tell anybody this, or it's a secret, I may not realize I'm not supposed to say it. Which gets me into trouble. But I've always been like that when I was a kid. I was always getting my mom in trouble, I think. Saying things that were not supposed to be said. But my mom did the same thing. Not saying that that makes it right. That's just like how my brain works for the most part. I don't recognize that certain things don't need to be said. Like, and it actually eats at me. Like, if I am, the only time I act like a third degree burn victim is when somebody touches on one of my, I don't even know how to say it. It's like those things that really bug you about yourself, that you feel like everybody sees it, but you hope that they don't, and then when it's pointed out to you, it like really makes you self-conscious. Well, I'm this way about certain aspects of me. Like if I'm accused of being inappropriate, like in a job setting, I'll be afraid to talk. And when I'm afraid to talk, everybody thinks I'm mad or really sad, so they're all like trying to get me to talk, and I'm like trying not to be inappropriate or trying not to say something I'm not supposed to say. I mean, if I have to think about every little thing, and see, I can't even put myself in the mindset of somebody who gets offended by something, when like people who don't like the word hate. I worked for a company, and we were resetting shelves, and I was working alongside somebody, and she and I were having a conversation like we had millions of times. And I'm like, "Oh, don't you hate that?" And it was just like a normal thing for us. And I got called into the office about saying hate on the sales floor because hate is not a word that is appropriate in the workplace. So when somebody's getting me on something like that, it's really difficult for me to, it's like, hey, I think about what I'm going to say, but how am I supposed to know that that's offensive? Until somebody says, hey, that's offensive. But see, I know that him not liking the word hate, that was offensive to him. But there's other stuff that seems to be offensive to, like, a lot of people. And I don't pick up on those things. I really don't. I mean, I've said it before, like, I know better than, like, I'm not going to ask my friends about, like, I'm not going to say to my female friends, so how big's your husband's dick? Those things I understand. I understand that, one, I don't want to know it, but two, I know that and I would be a little offended if somebody asked me that. So certain things I can pick up on, but most things no. And so when I'm called out on the things that bother me, it bothers me longer than a lot of other things. But like, when someone with BPD messes up, whether it's a big thing or a little thing, whether it's something as, a little thing like you forgot to say I love you when you left the house, or you yelled at your husband, up to like you fucked around. We want to fix it like immediately. And a lot of times do not understand why it's taking somebody so long to get over it. I mean, we get told get over it all the time. And that's what every person with mental illness gets all the time, is get over it. But with us, it's like, well, hey, I've done everything I can think of to fix this. Why are you still upset? That happened weeks ago. Now, don't get mad at the person with BPD for feeling that way, because for us, days, weeks, months, things revolve so quickly for us that, when it's a personal, specific trauma for us, yes, it takes us a while to get over it. But when it's a small thing, we tend to, I mean, it's kind of like if you ask, hey, what do you want for Christmas? Well, if it's August, I've got no clue. If it's October, I've got no clue. If it's December 21st, I've got no clue. I don't know what I'm going to want in 2 days or a week or a month. I don't know what I'm going to want in an hour. I know what I want right now. I know how I feel right now. Everything for us in terms of feelings and things is right now. If we've got to go out for dinner, hey, what do you feel like tonight? Well, if it isn't even noon yet, most of us are going to say, I don't know, what do you want? And that's not just a girl thing. That is like so totally a BPD thing, because we have no freaking clue. It's like, but if you're coming to pick me up like right this second, if I've got it in my head, I want a strawberry milkshake, then I'm going to say, I don't care where we go as long as they have strawberry milkshakes. because that's all I'm going to be thinking about once I think that's what I want. Um, but things change, and I mean, like, tomorrow you could ask me, like, if I really wanted a milkshake today and didn't get it, and then tomorrow you ask me, like, what did you really want yesterday? I might not remember that I really wanted a milkshake, because we change so quickly in in certain things as to, like, what I want, what I need, what I feel. And so, like, in my case, I get over a lot of stuff really quick. Like if somebody says something to me that offends me, which is very rare, but if they do, once they say they're sorry, I'm over it. Truly. Once they say I'm sorry, I'm over it. I don't like it when people won't say they're sorry, though. Like, if they won't say they're sorry, but they expect me to just be okay without the words, those kinds of things weigh kind of heavy on me. It's like, no, you better say you're sorry, because dang it, I'll say I'm sorry when I didn't do shit wrong. I will. If I think that that's what somebody needs to hear, sometimes I will. I mean, but most of the time when I say I'm sorry, it's genuine, because it's like, okay, if you're mad at me, I'm sorry that you're mad at me. It may not be that I'm sorry that I offended you, or, well, it kind of is, but it's not like I really feel sorry. I never really feel sorry. Those are words. Those are words to me, like, I love you. It's a word. I don't feel those things. I mean, I can feel loss. I mean, like I didn't realize how much I loved my dad until he died, because I don't feel those things. Um, I don't look at I don't look at people and think, oh God, I mean, I do, like when I'm looking at, like, I mean, I will look at, like Jason Momoa or somebody and go, ooh, I love you. Mm. I'll do stuff like that. But that's not love. That's lust. I know that's lust. That's like, because I know that if I did land one of those guys that I'm fascinated with on the big screen, I don't care how fucking awesome he is. 6 months into it, I'd be ready to move on to the next one. I'd say, I got it. I'm done. Next. Because I get bored easy. And I mean, it is like, that is the thing that really makes me distract myself the most. Like, for a person with borderline personality disorder, boredom is absolutely the worst, because we make all of our worst decisions when we're bored. And we'll justify, like, we'll have the whole thing planned out in our head, how everything's going to work out. But see, the thing is, it's the BPD that sometimes gives us the wrong idea of how things are going to work out. So we make our worst decisions when we're bored, because when we're bored, we start thinking about, well, is this it? Is this all there is? Is this the rest of my life? This sucks. And we'll stop seeing what is actually there. I guess that's the best way to explain it, is we'll stop seeing what's actually there, what's worth keeping, and forget, like, especially with relationships, it's like, it's pretty easy to forget how bad dating sucks. The whole liking somebody and then they don't like you, or whatever. I mean, I sucked at dating. I dated a lot, but I sucked at it. But yeah, I mean, we can't help it that we don't feel. That's not to say that we're not genuine when we say we're sorry, that we're not genuine when we're crying or anything. It's just that if you're expecting us to process everything the way that a quote unquote normal person processes things, that's never going to happen. And to this day, it gets me that it's like, there's people that have known me for 10 years or more, And it's like, I'm the same as I was then, for the most part. Don't be surprised by anything that comes out of my mouth. You know, I mean, it's like when something happens, it's like, why are you surprised? You know me. I am that person that I was. You know, it's like, come on. I said something that you didn't expect me to say. You should have expected me to say that because that's who I am. You know, I mean, I don't always know. And so for people to act like it's a big surprise when I say something that I shouldn't say or do something that I shouldn't do, you know, I mean, it's like, come on. I'm, I mean, they should just be glad that I never end up doing anything that would land me in jail, you know? I mean, heck, there's a lot of folks like me that are in and out of institutions and in and out of jail and, you know, got records and stuff, and I don't. I've kept my nose clean because I've been able to figure out how to fuck up just enough. There's like a fine line there. But I do care. I do care that people think I don't care. I care that they think that I don't feel things. Because I do feel things. They're just very muted. And that's because I had a shitty childhood. You know, I mean, my childhood could have been shittier. And I could be a worse person than I am. But this is who I am. Have a good night.